All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to CAHSS Virtual, this online showcase of student work. I would like to start with the land acknowledgement. We at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay acknowledge the First Nations people who are the original inhabitants of the region. The Ho-Chunk Nation and the Menominee Nation are the original first people of Wisconsin, and both nations have ancient historical and spiritual connections to the land that our institution now resides upon. Today, Wisconsin is home to 12 First Nations communities, including the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin, Forest County Potawatomi, Ojibwe Nation communities, Rockridge-Muncie Band of the Mohicans, and the Brothertown Indian Nation. We acknowledge the First Nations people of Wisconsin. So I'm very excited to get to our keynote speaker today, but first I want to say just a few words about CAHSS Virtual. So ultimately, this event is intended to be a showcase of student work from this spring. What we wanted to do was create a space where online students could do those end-of-the-year presentations and performances that seemed potentially lost when we went remote. I had no idea when we started this that so many people would really jump at the chance to participate, and I'm excited to say that currently, and there's still stuff coming in every day, we have more than 100 students and faculty from 16 different academic programs. Now, one of the joys I've had working on this is that I've been able to see all of these different projects and performances, and it has confirmed in me how important it is that these works be seen and read and listened to. They deserve as wide an audience as possible. And so I would encourage you, when this is over, to go take a look at causeeffect.org. That's CAHSS, effect, EFFECT.org, because there's a lot there and there's going to be more coming up every day. I would also encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's UWGBCAHSS, because we'll be promoting a lot of this work via those venues over the course of the next 2 weeks. One last thing before we get to the keynote. I have a few people that I want to thank who really helped set up not just today, but the website over over the next couple of weeks. First, in the Dean's office, Amanda Wildenberg and Barry Turnus, thank you both very much. In Cattle, I want to thank Kate Farley. I have 3 interns who have been and continue to be just instrumental in working on this: Stephanie Eskandel, Amanda Lurkey, and Nicole Corey. And then, of course, our fearless leader, Dean Chuck Ryan. Okay, so on to our speaker. He's the Director of Student Success and Engagement at UW Green Bay. He joined the Green Bay community in fall of 2009, teaching African American history and ethnic studies, as well as courses in science fiction. He took over as interim director for the GPS program in 2018, but he was named the Director of Student Success and Engagement in April of 2019. He's been involved in a variety of student success themed initiatives, including GBO, GB Welcome, First Year Seminar, Gateways to Phoenix Success. Most recently, he launched a podcast and accompanying social media platform spreading the message of thriving at UW Green Bay and beyond. Today, he's here to ask, how hip is your education? High impact practices and the world you're preparing for. It's Dr. Vince Lowery. Thank you, Vince.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And I want to start by thanking Ryan and the other people in CAHSS for inviting me to kick off the CAHSS celebration of your achievements this semester. My role as Director of Student Success and Engagement, I don't always have the benefit of opportunities to see firsthand what students have done with their education. Each passing semester, I miss the classroom. I miss those opportunities to connect with students, to see the transition that they're experiencing. I'm also not able to share my own perspectives directly. I tend to work through other people, tend to be behind the scenes operating. And so I appreciate, value the opportunity that I have today, and hopefully my internet connection will hold up long enough for me to share my perspective. In the face of the worst pandemic in a century, an outbreak that not only altered your semester, but your entire life, you persisted. Day in and day out, I'm in awe of your ability to meet this challenge head on, to remain committed to your educational goals, even as new barriers are being thrown up in front of you. In my remarks, which will be brief, I want to celebrate your achievements and challenge you and my colleagues who are listening as we undoubtedly face difficult times ahead. I must admit that I will celebrate and challenge simultaneously, a sort of integrated approach, and that word integrated is chosen intentionally, as you'll see, that I'll make clear as I go through my remarks. COVID-19 has laid bare the challenges higher education has been facing for years. Eager opinion writers already have the obituary for the traditional college experience drafted and ready for publication. To these critics, a good internet connection and a keystroke can just as easily produce the equivalent of a college education. They imagine a college degree as nothing more than a compilation of passive learning experiences coupled with workplace experiences of varying kinds. For these critics, this moment is proof that universities can go online, that they have no claim to authority in the realm of education, and that our society can easily replace colleges and universities with what one critic calls the university of everywhere. To these critics, I present you. I, for one, am very excited about the possibilities your work this semester holds because they open the door to reaffirm the potential higher education holds for each and every one of us and the communities in which we live. As a part of my podcast, I recently spoke with historian Kevin Gannon, whose new book, Radical Hope, A Teaching Manifesto, has been the source of inspiration and even renewal for me. In Radical Hope, Gannon explains that education is radical and that it unlocks the potential for, in his words, fundamental root-level transformation. And that teaching is an act of hope because that transformation, which is both personal and communal, leads to what he describes as a better future that takes shape out of our students' critical refusal to abide by the limitations of the present. In your persistence this semester and the results of your efforts in good times and in the current bad, I see something radical that I have hope that we are on the verge of unlocking, and the very real potential for higher education, a potential that will yield both a private good for you, but also a public good too. On the one hand, high impact practices yield very specific benefits for participants. I'll label this the private good. Study after study illustrates how students who take part in high impact practices yield both professional and personal benefits, developing essential skills and knowledge while seeing improvements in their overall academic performance and an increased degree of engagement in their education. All valuable and all reasons why the UW system to ensuring that every UW graduate experiences at least 2 high-impact practices during their educational journey. It's also why UWGB took part in a HIPS initiative funded by the National Association of System Heads. Through this project, 5 UW campuses worked to expand access to HIPS and to improve their quality through an assessment of current practices and an evaluation of projects supported by the grant. As the UW system has declared, HIPS contribute to the quality and value of higher education as our UW universities actively promote the concept of the Wisconsin idea by offering learning experiences to reach beyond the boundaries of the classroom and the campus. All of this explicitly highlights the personal benefits, again, the private good, of particular educational experiences. But they also suggest something greater. As I thought about the direction my remarks might go today, I returned to another book I found inspiring last summer as I transitioned into my new role as Director of Student Success and Engagement. I soon realized that the perspective offered by Chris Gallagher in College Made Whole, Integrative Learning for a Divided World, matters now more than ever. It signals for us a path to take. In this book, Gallagher challenges the critics of higher education and makes clear that higher education is constantly transforming, constantly evolving. And in this work, Gallagher contends that the private good that dominates the rhetoric of higher education today must coexist with the public good, the reason for being of every nonprofit college and university in this country. From Gallagher's perspective, we, and by we, he means, and I mean, administrators, faculty, staff, students, and community members, needed to embrace the idea of integrated learning, This learning model tasks students with applying knowledge and skills across contexts to produce a new synthesis out of high-impact practices. Applied learning equips practitioners with the ability to develop novel solutions to complex problems in collaboration with their peers, who each bring different perspectives, different skills to the table. Consider our current crisis. COVID-19 is testing every facet, every element, every layer of our society. One of the biggest challenges we face, and there are many challenges, but one of the biggest, as I sat and I thought about this, ability to collect all the information at our disposal, survey prior knowledge, synthesize the two and apply what skills we also possess, and come together with others who bring different knowledge sets and skills to the table, and formulate solutions that account for all of the layers of this crisis. This is, of course, no easy task. Like a lot of other things these days, easier said than done. But it's a task that Gallagher's vision for higher education makes reasonable, and yes, tenable, as you have begun to show this semester. And so, as I put together my remarks, most people begin their remarks with a question that they pose, and my remarks today do start with a question, but really the time to come to that question is now, at the last portion of my remarks. How hip is your education? The answer is very. You're the answer. You're the key. High impact practices challenge practitioners to step outside traditional academic contexts, to be collaborative, to engage in trial, to reflect, and to improve. My hope for a radical education lies in the educational journey that does this. Not just 2 times as system promises, not 3 times, not 4 times. My hope for a radical education lies in our ability, yours, mine, and all of ours, to embrace an educational experience, constantly explore opportunities that test our knowledge and present us with new texts and we apply them. Bring us into collaboration with those who bring their own perspectives to the table, and enable us to collectively synthesize what we know and formulate solutions to the challenges that we face. We have a unique opportunity to expand the look, the structure of higher education, while still remaining committed to its potential for both public and private good. Your private good will be achieved through this journey, as will the public good, because your contributions exist not only in the classroom, but out of the classroom as well. And from my perspective, that's an essential part of every high impact practice. That new context that Chris Gallagher talks about and challenges in his perspective on integrated learning. Your contributions and our continued collective pursuit of opportunities held within high impact practices give us the potential to examine the problems we face, to explore potential solutions, and together, explore potential solutions and together formulate strategies for going forward. In this sense, it is both my celebration of what you have achieved so far and my challenge to you as you take your next steps, wherever they may lead. Your work this semester and your pursuit of high impact practices throughout your UWGB journey offer us a clear direction to take this university as we encounter difficult times, and they will be difficult. But as Gannon and Gallagher and countless other scholars tell us, we need to embrace what we're already doing well, the excellence you've achieved this semester. That will help us reimagine higher education for its next steps. Thank you.